Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And the new Rimuru future attack prediction character has released. His animation does look good. It looks like he's holding a lightsaber right there. Unfortunately, he's he's something. Also, unfortunately, I had to friggin' pity him, which is really unfortunate because he's not a super great, awesome character. But what does the new Earth Rimuru do? Well, let's find out together. First off, he's Earth. He is magic, single target ult. He's on Prosper, Shizu's Will, Octagram, Demon Lord, Commander, and Tempest Elite. So he fits into a number of teams, Commander having been buffed for the past 3 months straight. Octagram Demon Lord sees, buffs here and there. Shizu's Will is full of Hinatas and Rimuru, so that's going to continue to get buffed. Tempest Elite, yes and no. Prosper, they might, but I don't see them buffing this team for a while. It's not a good team. He uses an Earth Sword, so if you ever had Earth Benimaru and a weapon made for him, you could take it off and you put it on this Rimuru. As I said, he's a single target Earth Magic character, 490% with no additional effect, so he is raw damage. His first skill, the skill we did not know, with the skill preview, is a bit finicky. So, decreases all targets' crit resistance by 50%. Baseline. Like, you'll never go below 50% for one turn. But the effect amount increases the higher your own current HP percentage, to a max increase of 100%. So, at minimum, you will have a 50% crit resistance down. At max HP, 100%, you will have a 100% crit resistance down debuff. And then as you go lower and lower in HP, your crit debuff will go lower and lower until it hits 50, and it will never go lower than 50. So, if you have Rimuru at full HP and you use the skill, then great, you're using him at full potential. If he takes a couple hits, you're going to go down to like 97.6% crit rate or crit resistance, and it can go down. As a note, we test this on stream. Having over your normal amount of HP or having a higher cap of HP has no effect. It is just what is your max HP currently and what is your current HP? Is it less or more? Then it's going to be less or more. So on the live stream, we had him at, we used Elmesia's extra 100% HP skill, and he was only at half HP at the time, right? Because we hadn't healed yet, and this was 50%. Because he now had half of his max HP. And then when it went back down and he then had like 58,000, but his new cap was like 26, it was 100%. So at no point, no matter what you do to make his health go any higher, it's always going to be whatever his current max HP is, and it's always going to cap at 100% debuff. So cool, I guess. His extra effect gives Earth and Fire characters guaranteed crits for one turn. So, locked into an Earth and Fire team, just like every other unit in this meta. Full of Earth and Fire characters. Cool. His second skill, we knew from the skill preview, 100% magic attack for himself, and then once turn 8 hits, you can get 150 skill points back. So you use 90, get 150. And this makes a lot of sense if you're running the Determination to Prosper team as a whole, because if you have 100 points going into turn 8, and then you use this skill, you will use 90 of those 100, which means you will have 10 points left over. You will then give yourself 150, which means you're now going to be at 160 points, which then means you can use Rimuru's first skill, which costs 80, and then you can use Elmesia's skill, which costs 80, and 80 plus 80 equals 160. So they're meant to be run together for max value. Both Lumi and Elmesia and Rimuru will have guaranteed crits. They'll have whatever percentage of crit resistance that you happen to have at the time, hopefully 100%. They'll have the extra ult damage from Elmesia. They'll have the ult resistance down from Elmesia. Rimuru will have his magic buff. Lumi has no damage effects, and you'll have whatever weakness strike you get from Maribel. Cool. He doesn't do as much damage as you want him to. I'll tell you that right now. He does peanuts for what an EX stacking team can do. His Valor trait, he nerfs blue gauges. Not a good Valor trait. It doesn't really affect anything, quite honestly. And then his actual trait is the dodge. So if you have one dupe in him, you get a 40% chance to dodge if you send 6 blue orbs on the previous turn. So, if you're running him on an orange team or a green team, this trait will never activate because you've never sent 6 blue orbs in one hand because you're running a team not dedicated to blue orbs. So, useless. Alright? If you have a dupe and you are on a blue team, then you have a 40% chance to dodge. Does not dodge ults. I want to make that very clear. You will still take an ult to the face. You will just dodge normal attacks and possibly counter attacks. I don't actually know if that works. I don't even have his trait unlocked because I had to pity his poor ass. I'm poor now, I guess. So that's that. But at least when you get a dupe, it's 40%. I was very afraid that it'd be like a 10% dodge rate, and then at his third dupe, you would then jump magically up to 60%. At least they gave you a good starting value. But again, it is locked behind sending 6 blue orbs the previous turn. Like, you don't just exist with a 40% chance to dodge. I know that's what people probably wanted, but yeah, they're not that generous. And then, yeah, if you get 3 dupes in him up to level 112, you now get a 60% chance. Still the same restrictions, though. You still need to send 6 blues, and you still don't dodge alts. So, how useful is this trait actually? Not that useful at all. So he's, again, for full value, locked to an Earth and Fire team. This, he needs to be at full HP, which if you're not running a healer, you'll never see this 100%, unless you literally never put him in the front line, of which case, then how are you going to get an ult for him? So, I don't like this skill. Fine, I guess, but it also means that it's not max power until 8 turns, so unless you're using a 90-point skill on a burst team in 3 turns, like, okay, that leaves you literally nothing else to use, almost. You get 100% magic attack, which you can then just bring Violet, who's orb changing, and gives everybody a 100% magic attack buff for 1 turn. And it costs 80 points, 10 points less. So, not a fan. Is there use for him as a single target Earth magic nuker? Certainly, because there's really nobody else. Apart from that, yeah, he's pretty mid, just like everyone else in this meta. So you know what? You can be safe in knowing that you don't have to summon for this Rimuru, because he doesn't really do anything super duper interesting. He gets extra crit damage when Rieger is in the battle, which you're probably going to want to bring Rieger because he's an orb changer and he's your ult swapper for this team. So at least you're guaranteed that, and that will, work with his guaranteed crits from his first skill. His banner is the same as the other banners, which means it's absolute garbage, because it only has Japanese characters, apparently. Unless they fixed it. Yeah, it only has Japanese characters. But it's going to look the same. It's going to have the same supporting banner units as Almesia's banner and Lumi's. Shuna, Lumi, Rimuru, Gazelle, Rimuru, Trainee. There are no other EX characters on Rimuru's banner. It's god-awful, and you should not summon for this character. I mean, unless you're a super big Rimuru stan, and then you've probably already summoned and you don't need this video at all. But, newer players, if you don't have Maribel and Lumi, you don't summon for this Rimuru. Rimuru needs Earth and Fire characters. He needs a turn 8 team. If you do not have an Earth and Fire team, and you do not have a turn 8 stacking team, he brings nothing to you. Almesia, I now don't know why she exists, besides her support buff for the damage. Because, as I've proven on stream, having a higher HP threshold does not actually impact Rimuru's skill. Actually, it hurts Rimuru's skill unless you have Lumi to heal him back up to full HP, because you're intentionally cutting your HP in half at that point, and it just drops Rimuru's skill down to 50%, instead of being at, max HP, 28,000 or 20,000, whatever your max HP is. If you then increase it by another 20,000, then you're cutting it in half, which means that Rimuru's skill is half useful. So, I realize that for Jubilee, there's a very, very high scoring percentage for remaining HP, and that's what she's used for. Apart from that, I think she's fucking stupid. Alright? Rimuru, bad. Also locked to fire and earth teams, and also turn 8 for max value. Almesia, locked to fire and earth teams, and a skill that I really don't understand at this point, except for Jubilee. Lumi, only an orb changer for fire and earth, and only a revive character for Commander and Prosper. Like, do you see the problem with... You need the full team, or you benefit from none of it. And that is the huge problem with this entire meta. I appreciate them giving us more fire and earth characters, because it was the weakest two elements in the game, with the least representation. This is not what I was expecting. Okay, this is not the kind of power creep that I was hoping for fire and earth, because the last good earth character to come out was a fucking guy a year ago. Okay? Okay? You can say Mirai, but she's not available anymore. You can't pull her ever again. So I don't count her. Jeez. At least it's an easy skip meta, right? So if you're an older player who's like, man, I don't have any of these characters, don't touch them. Don't touch any 3 of the banners. If you have Maribel and Lumi, and you don't have Almesia, you don't have Rimuru, and you don't give 2 shits about Jubilee, and you've already beaten, what you want to do for beatdown battle, don't touch these 2 banners. If you have Almesia, and you're like, man, do I have Rimuru? Do you care about Jubilee? No? Okay, great, don't summon for him. Do you care about beatdown battle? Yes? Well, then you should already be able to beat it because you already have these 3 characters, and the beatdown battle is an AoE stage, and Rimuru is single target, so he doesn't really bring any value. And we've proven throughout the this month that these 3, with some support units, can clear Inferno 3. Alright? They don't need Rimuru. He's not bringing anything extra that's going to help you clear Inferno 3 even easier. So... He's just very unnecessary for most players in the game, except for the sweaty tryhards that care about Jubilee and any future Jubilee stage that needs a single target Earth nuker. So, no. Unnecessary, and mostly unnecessary. 3 banners, full meta, completely unnecessary for most players. Newer players, you should avoid this like the plague. You should be saving your crystals, doing what you can, doing your dailies, logging off, logging back in tomorrow, doing your dailies, play the game a little bit, do your summons with all the free tickets that we're getting, and don't summon for another 16 days until we hit the 28th, when the meta changes over. Into whatever comes next, we don't know. But this is the next time you should be summoning on a banner, is the 28th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Apart from that, yeah, Rimuru exists. And you can let me know in the comments how you feel about his kit. I will be doing his showcase tonight and tomorrow morning, so this video will probably... His showcase video will probably go out around like noon or something tomorrow for Pacific time. Yeah, I ran out of things to say. So, I'm not impressed with this Rimuru. I'm not impressed with this meta. No one should summon for this. And if you did, by chance, happen to summon for Rimuru, because you are a Rimuru stand, or you're a sweaty whale, and you have no self-control, or you just have no self-control, let me know in the comments how your summons went. But otherwise, that's it from me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.